What's going on, YouTube? Hit that like button from the jump. Now, I ain't do Chicago in a minute, but let's get right into it. When Willie Lloyd went to prison for a hit on a police officer, his plan was to continue to roll behind bars. See, coming up in the Vice Lords, being a faction leader, he recruited the most. So that led him to become the most popular. He claimed himself king of the Vice Lords. Many people think he was the founder, but that's not true. But he for sure took it to the next level. Now, instead of stepping down due to his prison term, his intentions were to continue to rule the streets by putting certain men in position. He would shoot orders through them to maintain control. In prison, he even had prison employees affiliated with the movement. While in prison, he wrote a 60-page Vice Lord command structure. But after he completed his 15 years, he went back for another year on a weapon charge. Now, he approached his prison release with style, getting covered with a mink coat and leaving with 5 limos riding back to back. Riding through the hood, guys were lined up on the streets. Now, if you didn't recognize power, you did that day. In '92, he arrived back on the scene. Meetings took place, and he was on his way back on his throne. A new chain of command followed. See, the only problem with that was you had guys in place that wasn't ready to just give up their position. That's a huge problem, but you can't blame them. Just imagine for 10 to 15 years, you are established in a high-ranking position, then out of nowhere, you're acknowledged as nothing. A lot of people don't understand that Willie Lloyd is only the king of kings of his branch, which is the unknown Vice Lords. Baby Ty Williams helped build the reputation behind the name, which would soon bite him in the ass. With Willie Lloyd back on the streets, he's learning about new Vice Lord territory and the amount of capital these locations are bringing in. So he wants parts of everything. He's furious that some men are hiding money, hiding cars, acting like they don't got money, just acting like they don't got it. He didn't trust anyone. He didn't give anyone a break either. He was coming for his. If he came and saw you, he was leaving with something. Willie Lloyd was home, and guys like Ty Williams paid their respects. Willie Lloyd was taken care of financially. They were handling his bills and everything. But things would take a turn when he would go into the businesses of these same men that was taking care of him and rack up thousands of dollars on the tab, and he never had the intentions on paying. A huge sign of disrespect. So they stopped looking out for him. And it's not like he would go with 1 or 2 people. He would have like 10 people with him. So you know that tag was super crazy. But Baby Ty and them, they just stopped looking out. They cut him off completely as soon as they noticed he was taking advantage and taking kindness for weakness. And you know, that was cool. But the problem was, Willie Lloyd was still expecting some type of payment. They told him what it was, and now he's demanding. And they was like, wait a minute, you thought you were extorting us. Nah, we was just looking out for you. But even if you think you're looking out, paying someone extortion money once doesn't stop there. You'll be paying for life. But Willie Lloyd decided to make a move and snatch up Cardell Williams, which is the brother to Baby Ty Williams. Willie demanded a ransom, and the ransom was only $6,000. Around that time, $6K was equivalent to 13 bands in today's money, but $13K is still not worth kidnapping someone. But they ended up making an arrangement and coming up with an agreement, and he settled for a Benz. Now, is it me, or was this the pettiest ransom in gangster history? Nah, but Baby Ty wasn't letting that slide. He has a reputation to maintain. But to go to war, he needs the right backing. And the right backing has to be no other than the ones that's already tired of Willie Lloyd's shit. They didn't want him recognized anymore, and they tried to strip away his support by putting out rumors that Willie Lloyd is on drugs. Whether it was true or not, one of the Vice Lord's strict rules are no drugs. Now, with beef cooking and with his house under surveillance 24/7 by law enforcement, Willie Lloyd decided to lay low in a motel in Deerfield. It was supposed to be a low-key spot. His car was followed and shot up on the expressway with his aunt and his 2-year-old. The good news is they survived without a scratch, and Willie Lloyd wasn't even in the car. But they left a strong message. The only person that was hit was the driver. That was the start of a vicious war, with both factions taking turns letting each other have it. Every other week giving each other gas, battling for the best territory, taking over each other's drug spots, robbing each other's workers. What a time to be a vice lord around this time. But with all this going on, Willie would still attempt to extort members of other factions. Well, he was extorting everything moving, from drug dealers to pimps, trying to muscle in on crack spots that were doing very well. One of the lucrative spots areas was located on Springfield Street, called The Spot. With the great amount of clientele and traffic, it was doing numbers daily. Baby Ty Williams' affiliate Ortez was running The Spot. Willie Lloyd was sending men around there trying to extort the situation, and they would return back with nothing. He actually sent multiple warnings, but the thing is, this wasn't the 70s or 80s, where they actually respected rank. This was the 90s. You had younger guys that just wasn't having it. Most people knew about his 25-year sentence, so they just thought he was out the way completely. Lloyd thought he would come home and had the same authority he had in prison, but on the streets, things were much different. September 12, 1993, Lloyd would take his men to rob the dealer during the 2 p.m. shift at The Spot. His message was, if you ain't giving it up, he's taking it. So they tightened up on security immediately. Before all the workers tooled up, well prepared, they sent men with guns to hunt down Willie Lloyd and his men, but nothing came out of it at that time. The very next day, they noticed 2 random men selling drugs in front of The Spot that wasn't supposed to be there. They were young bulls just taking orders, and when they were spoken to, they said The Spot now belonged to Willie Lloyd. Of course, they were selling the same package that was taken the day before. And you know, they played this sweet. Ortez was informed, and when he pulled up, he just looked at the 2 men and drove off. He ended up coming back with a couple of fellas, armed to the T, and forced the young men into the car at gunpoint. The 2 were taken to the train tracks, and they were decimated. Poor fellas, they were just following orders. But this is a grown man's game. They had to send a message and let Willie Lloyd know that he might want to try that shit with the fellas around the corner. October 20th, 1993, Willie Lloyd made a court appearance fighting a home invasion charge. As he exited the car, he would be followed for a couple of blocks before being shot up. He would be hit in his left thigh, while his girlfriend suffered from minor injuries. His 2-year-old son would be also in the car, but he made it out unharmed. You may feel bad for this guy, but look what he started. As you can see, they wanted him very bad. They wasn't going to miss out on any opportunities. They knew he was fighting court cases, so they went out and looked up the court dates. Now, this was around a time where court information was accessible to the public. Of course, nowadays with social media, or if you're a big name, it wouldn't be hard to find out about a court date. But it's a little difficult to find out about an average Joe without a court number or an article. After that attempt, Lloyd and his lawyer would show up to court with bulletproof vests. He started riding in the same car with his family, as his dangerous lifestyle started to involve people around him. So having to watch how you move, looking over your shoulder 24/7, and appearing to court, doing light bids, that shit takes a toll on you. Behind all the shootings, law enforcement had CIs buying drugs and giving up information. Beef only ends when there's death, someone goes to jail, or when someone decides that they don't want to be a part of the game anymore. But here's the news flash. You can't just walk away when you want to, especially if you pit dudes in the dirt. He found that out when he was released from prison from doing yet another bid in 2002. He stepped away from the vice lords, but would end up getting shot by probably some youngins trying to make a name for themselves. But I gotta get out of here, man. I'll continue with the story soon, so subscribe. Hit me up in the comments, follow the Instagram. Don't be a stranger, join the Patreon if you have any requests, of course. Y'all take it easy. Thanks for watching. I'm out.